What's happening, guys? This is Vad Nagpal for iGyan.in, and in front of you over here is the Canon XS510HS. Now you'd ask me why my iPhone is in the frame, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because using my iPhone, I am actually browsing images on this camera over here. And I can only do that for the simple fact that this camera has inbuilt Wi-Fi and an app available on the iPhone to interconnect. So we're going to be reviewing the Canon XS510HS. So let's get on with it. So let's talk about build quality. The camera is exceptionally well built. It's a very small size. You can see it can easily fit inside any pocket. It is a little thick compared to some of the other models available, but it does come in a very small form factor. It's very easy to carry around and does not add a lot of complications in your life if you are an easy shooter. If all you want to do is get out there and take some pictures without worrying about the kind of settings, the kind of things that you would want to do on a camera, if you don't want to worry about those, this is the camera for you. So let's talk about some of the great things that this camera has. First of all, talking about resolution, the camera has a 10.1 megapixel sensor with an optical zoom of 12x. The sensor is a HS sensor. That means it's a high sensitivity sensor, and it gives great low light performance, exceptionally well shooting in low light, even if you have shaky hands. And it also gives great movie detail shooting in low light. So when we shot some video in low light, we were really impressed with the kind of quality the lens and the sensor give together. The lens is a Canon lens, and it's got an f-stop of 3.4:5.6 from 4mm to 48mm. On the back of the camera, you will see this nice and vivid 3.2-inch touchscreen LCD display, which will handle most of your settings, all the way from shooting modes to recording video on the go. And setting up all your settings in as well. On the bottom of the camera, you will find a convenient tripod mount and an unusual size and design battery pack, which is good enough for about 180 images. When we tested it out, we got about 120 images, and on video we got about 30 minutes of video. And now this camera does take a micro SD HC card, which are not high speed cards. Well, they're not available in India yet, but you can get some SanDisk ones, which are SanDisk Ultra, so you can get about class 10 or class 6 cards, which should be decent and good enough for HD video capture on this camera. While this camera does capture 1080 video, it's not 1080p, it's 1080i. The camera overall weighs 163 grams in weight and is lightweight, easy to carry, and overall a nice camera. You do have a built-in flash over here. So those are the basic aspects of the camera. Let's get on with the interface, and I'll show you a bit of the interface as well. Navigating on this camera is fairly easy. On the top left over here, you have your shooting modes. So easy to select, not a lot of complications over here. From the main menu, from the front menu, you can select auto. You can also have programmed auto, and you can adjust a couple of settings over here in programmed auto. Then you have movie digest, portrait mode, smooth skin, smart shutter. You have high speed burst that does up to 20 pictures in high speed. You have handheld night scene, which will actually isolate and reduce a lot of camera shake if you're shooting an image in low light conditions. Then you also have a standard low light shot. You have fisheye effects, miniature effects, toy camera effects, so tons of effects. You also have soft focus, monochrome filters, soft vivid filters, posture effects, color accents. You can select a color and only have that color show in the frame. You can also swap color, so if you have reds, you can replace the reds with yellows and make an interesting image out of it. Tons of shooting options, tons of customizations that you can do. If you're shooting fireworks, it does high speed photography. You can also get some long shutter shots. You need a tripod for that. Snow. You also have iframe movie capture, and you also have slow motion movie capture. In every mode, you have separate settings for each mode. And for example, if you go into programmed auto mode, you also get these settings over here, which are in the functions menu. So if you get into the functions menu, you can set up your metering, you can set up your colors, your white balance settings, Again, you have ISO settings, exposure compensation, timer mode, focus range. So every menu itself has tons of easy settings that you can adjust if you like to get into that. Otherwise, you have your full auto mode, as easy as taking the camera and pointing and shooting. We found that low light images in this camera are exceptionally crisp, even at really high ISO levels. The camera shoots in an ISO range all the way from ISO 100 to ISO 3200 with a compensation of over -2 EV in 1/3 EV steps. So that's pretty much at par with the shutter speeds, which range from 1:4000 to 15 seconds. So you get great crisp images even at high ISOs. We found that images up till 800 and 1600 were fairly crisp, although you do see some noise in 1600 ISO. Although in 3200 ISO you will find that there's a lot of noise in the image, especially if you zoom into your subject. The zoom on this camera is 12x, and considering its size, that's equivalent to 28 to 336 millimeter in a 35 millimeter camera. It also has something called a Zoom Plus feature that extends it up to 21x, in some cases up to 27x as well. So in terms of shooting mode, you get some great images. You also have some great features, allows you to play around with effects, toy camera effects, and everything that you would need from a point and shoot camera of this value. You can take up to 120 shots, up to 140 shots depending on your usage, but about 120 shots is the average that we got from a full charge of battery on this camera. It also has a great application that can connect on iPads and iPhones that allows you to see the camera. It's called Canon camera window. It allows you to see the images on the camera, see the videos, and save them on your library. So all you need to do is go into the preview mode and press this little Wi-Fi icon over here, and you'll be in the couple of options. You can also directly connect to the internet via a computer once you're on Wi-Fi. Now this is connected to Wi-Fi, and it will allow you to connect via an iPhone onto this camera over here, and allow you to see the images. Now this software is a little buggy and it does not work all the time, especially on your infrastructure mode, but it does have something called ad hoc mode, and which allows you to directly connect to the camera, all the images on the camera by pressing on that button. You can also see video directly from here. Now the great feature about this is that you can send this image directly to Facebook. You can also email this directly from this application, and if you configure your YouTube from here, you can also upload directly to YouTube your videos from here. So you'll be able to see all those options, and you can configure them according to the way that you want. So great little feature in a great little camera, pocketable and easy to use. They only have an application on iOS right now, so iPad, iPhone, iPod. But we would love to see an Android application that will allow you to connect the camera, especially because it's a Wi-Fi enabled camera, so you should be able to connect to any device whatsoever. You can simply tap on the screen and scroll through your images. You can also slide through your images as you would on an iPhone. So that also works. When it captures a burst shot, when it captures burst photography, it creates a collage of all the images so that you don't have to search for individual images. You can just tap on this button and you can play back the group. So if you have, for example, 4 images, it will play all 4 of those images as a group instead of individual images on the camera. The camera also has great macro performance and takes an image up to 1 centimeter from the subject. So great focus when it comes to macro photography. You'll be able to really take close-ups if you have good light. In terms of color reproduction, we were really impressed with the kind of color reproduction the Canon Nixus can do. It has excellent detail on each end of the spectrum of colors, and it will be demonstrated by this image. You can see that all the way. You can see how beautiful the reds look, the whites. Everything looks just absolutely brilliant. It does a great job of reproducing color, and we are really impressed with the kind of results that it has. Ixus 510 shoots video at 920 by 1080 pixels at 24 frames per second. It also does 1280 by 70 at 30 frames per second. And below that, you also have 640 480 by 30 frames per second, 640 480 at 120 frames per second, and 240 frames per second for slow motion. You can also do 320 and 640 480 pixel videos if you want to do that, if you want to go further down and speed up The Canon EXIS 510HS is a great little camera. It has great high sensitivity sensor with impressive low light performance, especially for video. We're really impressed with the low light video performance. This is essentially a camera that you just throw in your pocket and carry around, and for that it does excellent work. And if you were to take more pictures, you would possibly carry an SLR or something that would give you that option. But with this great package, a great small size, and wonderful features including the Wi-Fi connect with iOS devices. For more unboxing videos, reviews and tutorials, log on to iGyan.in. If you have any questions, queries about this product, please do leave them in the comment section below on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Do subscribe to our YouTube channels. It's youtube.com/iGyan, youtube.com/iGyanTV. Find the full review with images, samples and videos on the iGyan link below. So make sure you click on that to go to the full review of this camera. For iGyan Networks, this has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.